What happened this week in foreign policy and global news that you need to know about? Let's talk about it. First, President Trump announced a 50% tariff on copper, and that's going to be a problem for the United States. The goal of tariffs is usually to increase domestic production or to bring production overseas to the United States. And while the US does have copper reserves, our actual capacity to refine the copper ore has halved since 2000. Building new mines takes a really long time. So companies are now trying to stockpile as much copper as they can because if the tariffs go into effect in August, copper prices are going to soar. And copper is used in everything, pretty much. Phones, electric vehicles, AI data centers, semiconductors, all of our defense infrastructure. Yeah. So without a major investment in the infrastructure to actually mine and refine copper, this tariff may backfire dramatically. Secondly, there's been a lot of shifts in the US stance towards Russia and Ukraine this week. Trump is taking a harder stance towards Putin, calling him unproductive and also slamming a lot of the recent aggressive moves by Russia in Ukraine. Trump also reversed a pause on arms shipments to Ukraine that was put in place by Defense Secretary Hegseth, and he also is greenlighting more Patriot missile systems to be sold to NATO, which will then be funneled to Ukraine. There are some analysts that are suggesting that Trump may be finally realizing that Putin is really not interested in peace. But the chaos of how the U.S. is making these decisions and who's making them is still causing a lot of unease among Ukrainians and our European allies. And finally, in the Senate's big, beautiful bill, there are some major rollbacks to clean energy incentives that have some implications in the foreign policy space. Basically, the bill is going to make it impossible for these projects to receive the tax incentives because of a lot of the tests and the hurdles that they've introduced. For example, one of the tests is that if any supplier, several tiers removed, is a foreign influenced entity, basically there's something, a part of it that's either owned or influenced by a foreign government, like China, for example, that would bar them from receiving the tax credit completely. So what does that really mean? It means that we might see a lot of layoffs in the clean energy sector from people who are working on these projects and trying to get them up to speed, electricians, anybody in infrastructure, construction, that kind of stuff. Their projects may suddenly have to stop because they're not able to comply with the restrictions imposed by the new bill. And that's the weekly news.